Tonight I'm with David Evans of Hullabaloo 15, who is the leading series boat and also the first series boat in today's short offshore race. First of all, David, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your boat.
Well, right, yes, all half-tonners are interesting. I think that's the first thing I would say, is that the IOR produce all sorts of interesting boats that have one of the great things is they all go pretty much the same speed, and even though you spend huge amounts of money on them, it doesn't necessarily make them go an awful lot faster, which, well, of a man of limited means, this is always a great idea. The other thing that's worth talking about on the half-ton fleet is that the standard of sailing is incredibly high. Even the guys at the back are really super sailors, and the standard of crewing and sailing is as good as you'll see anywhere. But I bought Hullabaloo in 1997. I'd had several IOR boats before, but my children at that time were 6 and 8, and we had an old wooden thing for several years, and I decided it was about time they got introduced to racing. So I bought Hullabaloo. I found her rotting in the Medway. She was half full of detritus. Everything was broken, and within 15 minutes of writing the check and handing it over, I seriously questioned my own judgment, because it was a terrible mess. But 3 winters later, I worked at her in the evenings and stuff, and sorted her out inside, because she's a properly fitted out boat. We've got double berths up the front, and she's got headlinings, and she's very cosy. And we use her as much as a family cruising boat as we do as a racing boat. So yeah, and she's always been a good boat. She first did I think she did the 78 half-ton cup at somewhere in Holland. I think it was Scheveningen or Ostend or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she's always been a good boat, as all Hussa 32s are. She's slightly quirky because she's got a keel in a different place and things like that. I didn't do any of that, it's just how it came. But no, so she's a lovely boat to sail. She is, and people say she looks good. I like to think she does. She does. With my wonderful hand-painted 2-pot polyurethane, and because I couldn't afford to pay anybody to do it. Then she's got half-decent sails, and the rig fell down in 2004, which was very fortuitous, because it was the time when we decided we wanted to get rid of runners and things. So my charming insurance company funded my new rig, which I'm eternally grateful, which is always a good thing. But yeah, so she's lovely. She goes well. We've been doing the half-ton cup now we did the first classic half-ton cup one when it was held in 2003 in Ostend, and it was great. I only had 3 young children crewing for me, so we were a bit pushed. And we then, after that, we went on holiday into Holland and all that sort of thing. So it tied in well with that, but it whetted our appetites. The next 2 were places we couldn't get to easily. And then we were back in Newport for the 2009 half-ton cup, which we were 2nd overall. So it just shows production boats can do this sort of thing. And then we did the one in Cowes, which was a lovely place to sail. Horribly out of my wallet status, but yeah, it was good. And so we're here. We sailed 330 miles on our own bottom to get here, with just my youngest son and myself. So it's a fabulous holiday, and my other son and 3 other friends joined us. Our oldest crew member is 72.
Very good.
And he's a very dear friend, and he's itching to relay to everybody's local yacht club what a wonderful sailor he is. Whereas in reality, he sits at the back and takes photographs. But we manage, and he can be heavy when he wants to. But yeah, so it's a great week. The half-ton cup. There are a large number of people that have done all the half-ton cups I have. So these people have become quite close friends, and we communicate regularly. And they're not all hotshot millionaires by any stretch of the imagination. They're just normal people who find that they can buy a boat You know, they can buy a good 30-foot racing boat for the price of a car, and so it's affordable. So if you want to go and race J something or others, and I've lost count of the numbers they have, you know, you need to pay half the price of a house to have one of those. But no, for the price of a reasonable car, you can have a half-tonner and go sailing and enjoy yourself, meet lovely people, and have fabulous racing. I mean, today's sail was just delightful.
Tell us a bit about today's race. It was a very close race, so tell us a bit about it.
Well, we had a lovely beat along the shore here in about 22, 23 knots of wind, and it was a bit lumpy, and so we roared up the coast, and then we went round the magnificent Ile de Bréhat, which is just the most beautiful place. My eldest son did that route when his mother was only 5 months pregnant, so he has been here before, but he doesn't remember it terribly well. But yeah, so it's lovely sailing here, and it is, you know, it was absolute Champagne Caribbean type sailing here today. Hot wind. The most beautiful scenery that one could imagine, and I think
a fantastic run home, which just so spectacular.
Just was. We were sitting there at 10, 11 knots all the way down the coast, leaving a wake like a destroyer. It was just quite fabulous stuff, until we crossed the finish line, had to turn around, and we realised how windy it was.
Very lucky the finish line was very close to the harbour.
Yes, it was. But no, it's been a wonderful day, and you know, it's a lot of competitors were initially concerned about the rocks. But having sailed here before, I know it's nothing to worry about too much. You just need to follow a good Frenchman and let him ruin his boat first. And that works well. But you know, the production boats, I mean, it's not really as if there are two leagues. Perhaps there was a bit today because there was a tidal gate, and the faster boats got away, but the IRC does as well, and and it's possible to compete pretty effectively without having a stupidly expensive boat. And you know, and you don't have to buy new sails every year. My sails were new 7 years ago, and they work just fine.
Really, since you are the leading series boat and doing very well overall. Where are you lying overall?
11th at the moment, but we had to count 2 11ths today because it counts double. So we can't discard those. So these were my worst results. So, but there we are. You know, we've got 3 races probably tomorrow and another one on Friday, and so the opportunity is there to stick it up tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, David, thanks so much for talking to us tonight.
It's a delight.
We shall look forward to catching up and seeing how you're doing after tomorrow's racing.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.